first year I arrived here.
I was still in school uniform.
I mean, if I knew, well, here's a picture. It looks like Tim Murray with his kids. That goes way back. Mrs. Ellis is in here. Oh, there's Mrs. Ellis. Tim Murray. Big Don here with Ballymore, that big red horse he had. Elsa Mosley, the Johnstons. Well, Don and Bob Johnson, who still wants to be a joint master. Has he called you, Franz?
No, I haven't. He moved away.
Yeah, he went to Coatesville, Pennsylvania. Yep.
Good hunting guy.
He got mad at Don because he wouldn't make him joint master and he left. No, I think it was when he passed away. Teddy and Kim jumped in the spot. He got
Yeah.
annoyed, I think. He bought property in Coatesville.
That's too
That's the
bad.
stuff we can't talk about.
Yeah.
We got Miss Suzanne Colorado, and we got a joint master here.
I worked hard.
Franz Colorado. Excuse me?
I worked hard on that one.
Mm-hmm. No, like I said, I got a good photo album here from Michelle Jeffries. And she could probably tell it better than I could. I can talk about some of the pictures, who's in them, what they did in the ranks of the hunter trials, which I don't think, you know, I talked about the last time, but there is a picture here with Russell cooking a pig at one of the hunter trials. Hunter trials are for all the hunts to compete, and then after the month of October, they all get together, and every hunt, every 2 years, has a New England hunter trials, where everybody competes. Volunteer judge, volunteer help, but each hunt sends the best of the best to compete in the herd cup, which is the big one. You get 4 riders from each hunt. And normally an Ann Getchell would be a judge. An important person would always be a good judge that knew what they were talking about, which made the competition even tougher. So what you would do is basically you had to hunt a horse 6 times to be eligible. 2 years, 12 hunts. Me and Big Don, we used to take Grover, put him on a trailer, go and check, bring him in. Next year we did the same thing. Do a check, throw him in a 2-horse, bring him home. First year he goes to the hunter trials, he wins the herd cup. Second year, does the same thing. 1 check, back in the trailer. 6 checks a year, that's all we did with him. We did that for 8 years. He won 8 herd cups in a row. That's the way to win the herd cup. We're skipping everything else. We're not practicing. Put your horse in the trailer, go and check, and save him. But anyway, the 100 trials, the first one I did go to was very competitive because we had Russell Clark, Tim Murray, Peter Britton, and Don Little. 4 top horses. And in them days, Norfolk was big. Tan Heath had a good strong team. And Wentworth would go with a good team. And then they'd all compete over high fences, 3.9 to 4 foot. And they all had to do it on the flat. Walk, trot, canter, change leads, proper figure eights, stop, buck up, do a whole hard, run down the fence line, and the huntswoman or the huntsman would blow the horn. You'd have to stop on a dime like a cutting horse. And then after that, while they were doing all the, adding up everything, they'd have an hour hunt. That was the Tan Heath days when they would hold it every 2 years. They'd have a hunt while everybody was figuring out the scores. And myopia, I think we had a new hunter trials over at John Donovan's. had them in the schooling field. We had a big one here at Bradley Palmer, right up here. And then the Winthrops, Freddie Winthrop, he had his hunter trials there. Every 2 years, each hunt would take a turn. So I've been here since '87, so I've basically seen all the property that we have used. But it's a special caution. It makes the hunt build more fences for the bigger courses, smaller courses, and it just cleans the area up when you have a hunter trials or a New England hunter trial. It makes you use all the property and you clean it up. That's that for the New England hunter trials. See if there's any. Yep.
Of course, Don Little had a great course in the 90s,
Yeah.
2000 on his own.
You were there on the Chestnut.
Yeah, Austin was very good at that.
Yep. You were in there.
And Freddie's course was very good, also
Yeah.
in the 90s. There
And
was
then
a
we did
course
one
over at Brackenside, or the Clarks for,
Oh, yes. in the
Oh,
front.
yeah.
Yes.
I did that once or twice.
Yeah, you did that one. Then we had Donovan's and the school and field combined.
Yeah, that was before.
Bradford House,
Yeah,
you know, the Bradford estate there.
yeah, I don't remember that.
There was some good fences they built through there.
We were doing one of the pre-rides, and on Crocker's property, the trot jump is still there.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's an adorable little red coupe, and when we were doing the pre-ride with Wendy one day, she's like, "Oh my god!"
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's some, the in and out in the woods,
Mhm.
the coop jumping down the river, there's some good fences.
I had 26 fences in.
Yeah, all those logs in the field that,
Yep. Those were the days. But you've done a lot up here in Bradley Palmer.
yeah.
What you've done with this property here. I mean, if you had to have a hunter trials again, that's where you go.
I agree.
You've done a lot up there to rebuild it. Where we hunt country nowadays, that's the other thing. It's not like I said, I was here in '87. That's 37 years ago. And there wasn't much building going on. So the hunt people could go out and go through people's yards. They didn't care because you didn't have the city folk living up here. You had country people that worked in the city. And a lot of people didn't care if they run across their backyard in October or November. Springtime, it comes back. But if you're a city folk, you see all this nice green grass, and here comes the hunt in October. You don't want it torn up,
Yeah,
you know? So that's the problem now with 2025. It's still good hunting, it's just you gotta be very picky
sensitive.
where you go, because you don't want to annoy some of these landowners because they don't understand. When people come to this property and buy property, we want them to be horse people.
Yeah.
But 70% of the people moving here don't know how to spell horse. So they got all this nice land to look at. They probably got landscapers, keeping it all nice and neat, you know. Where in the old days, the hunt would come through, cut, weed whack, and do brownie points, help them out with their country, you know, their backyards, their big fields, like West Newbury. Couple of them clients, we've lost them now, I think, but in the old days, when Jerry Mahoney and his wife and Betty Ellis opened up all that land in West Newbury, they were cutting a lot of backyards. You know, Eugene McKay, a huntsman, he used to send Mac up for a week with the bush hog, and he cut all week up there. But that's how you get the land. Some people do it themselves, and some take advantage of it and say, "Ah, well, you can use it if you cut my backyard," you know. That's the thing now. So, you just gotta find the right people that own the right property. Like Waldingfield, where you're at, we got new owners there. You know, what are we gonna do? You know,
You'll still ride through it, don't worry.
that comes in Franz's department. He's the man.
I have a strong feeling you'll still be riding through it.
You know, you got people like that moving into this area, buying all this nice big property, you know.
He wants horses, the new guy wants horses, like him or don't like him, or like what he wants to do,
Mm-hmm.
he wants horses, so
Good.
we're not
But
losing.
we know Mrs. Bird left the polo field.
Yes.
You'll always have that.
Yeah.
You'll always have the polo field, and you'll have that field in the backwoods there, that track
Yeah,
that goes over to Jennifer Eddy's. That's why it's 2025, it's different. You know, you still got good riding. It's just the last 3 years I haven't been out, so I can't really say what's been going on, where we're going. You know, it's like I talk with Sam and Sammy and all the other girls and like Cherry. You know, everything gets new names and then you gotta rearrange yourself and say, oh yeah, that used to be so-and-so, now it's so-and-so. Everything's changing. So you gotta be up on it when you're out there in the country, when you're coming around.
What about the trips down south? Pennsylvania, Virginia? How often did you guys do that?
Well, Franz was with us one year. What we would do, hunt here Thanksgiving Day. And then hunting starts down in Virginia, Maryland, and Pennsylvania the 1st of December. So what we would do is go that Tuesday after Thanksgiving. We'd start in Middleburg, Virginia. We'd go to a barn, put the horses up on Wednesday, hunt Thursday, hunt Saturday. Then we'd bump up to Maryland, Elkridge, Hartford, and Duck Martin's property. You were there.
Yeah, Green Spring.
Yeah, Green Spring. We would hunt there, like on a Monday and a Tuesday. And then Wednesday, we'd ship up to Coatesville, Pennsylvania. And we'd hunt there Thursday and Saturday. Franz was with us. We went to Virginia, we went to Maryland. I said, Franz, we're going to Pennsylvania. He said, I'm going to Austria, I'm going skiing.
Yep.
That was a good 2 weeks. But we got lucky, there was no snow. We've gone to Virginia the 1st of December, hunt on Thursday, Friday be a foot of snow. And then Saturday morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, they'd be bludgeoning through with the 4th string. They had 4 strings of hounds down there. The old timers would go on very, very icy, snowy days. They just walk and trot. So they always got out. And then if it was good weather, good ground, they'd have the A string out there. So Virginia was Virginia, but you could catch snow. Coatesville, Pennsylvania, Elkridge, Hartford, Maryland, Middleburg, Virginia in December. They've been lucky. We got lucky some years, other years we hunted in snow. When you went with us, we got lucky with the good weather.
Yeah, well, that was fun.
Yep.
I did it a couple times, I think.
Yep.
Big hunts, big hound packs, huge country.
But I think too, they're having issues just like myopia is. Newer people buying property, newer people not wanting you to, like ASP, how would you, humane people? They don't want, like there's parts of Piedmont Hunt right now in Upperville, Virginia. Primo land, the best of the best, that goes back 125 years. You got new owners coming in, buying all this property, just like we have in New England. And if they're humane, they don't want you killing fox, you can't go on their property with hounds. So if you're a huntsman or a huntswoman and you're hunting a pack of hounds in Upperville, Virginia, and you come up on so-and-so's property, you gotta pull them off of the line, stop them, and go around the people's property and hope the hounds don't get away from you.
That sounds stressful.
Yeah, yeah.
But
You'll
that's
avoid all
what's
those
happening
issues
to the
with
hunt.
your
It's still good to hunt. It's just knowing your property owners, the people that own the lands, and how you can convince them to say, listen, we're not killing nothing out here, we're just running through, you know. So that's a thing. Another thing with 2025 hunting.
How did Don manage that sort of stuff when he was
Here,
here?
calendar and a bottle of wine at the end of the year, and a lot of schmoozing and, you know, talking.
Yeah, he's good at that.
But that's the other thing, what I would like to see more of in the myopia hunt is the subscribers, the actual members of the hunt contributing, knocking on doors, helping Sam, the huntswoman, helping the crew that takes care of the kennels, taking time to go out and help property, you know? That's something we kind of drifted away from. You know, you always need a lot of volunteers for the hunter pace, even Thanksgiving Day with all the activities, opening day. You need the volunteers out there helping people out.
Tell us a bit, Dougie, about the huntsman that worked with Don over the years. He was the minister.
Well, he's supposed to be here, but he went to Amanda Smith's for the month. Eugene McKay.
Yeah.
But, you know, Eugene happened to be a carpenter, and he knew how to build stuff. He'd wreck a lot of things, but he'd fix a lot of things too, you know? And he was a game Welshman, you know.
Had he hunted in the UK?
He hunted in England.
Yeah.
You know, he will be a speaker here eventually, trust me. Because every time I see him, I said, Suzanne wants you over there. But Suzanne wants, normally she gets, you know. So when I seen him the other day, he said, Doug, I'm going to Florida for the month. I'll see you in March. No, I mean, we could talk about Eugene, but I would,
Yeah,
like
we'll let
Franz,
him
I'd
talk,
like to
yeah.
get him here.
Yeah.
He could tell you some good stuff about hunting.
He was the first one that Don brought in, though, right? Because there were others along the way. But,
Oh, yeah, when, well, that was, you remember.
yeah.
You were too busy to be joint master. Elsa and Andy, they didn't want to get involved in it.
Yeah.
Julie, John Ellis.
Yeah.
What happened was, you know, Nori left town, Nori Weiser as the master, because Russell and Don gave it to him. And then he had problems with the family. Make a long story short, we have no huntsman. So now Don's sitting in Boston. Like I said, Franz was on the list, too busy. Teddy Mean, too busy. So Don, he took it over. And was sitting on a trunk in Wellington. He looks at me, he says, Doug, what are we gonna do? I said, hire a professional. What do you mean? I said, just hire somebody that knows what they're doing. Let them hunt the hounds and take care of the property. But at the time, it was a different hunt too, because Don had Jim Esdale, he had Susanna, husband, Franz's father, Moose, Bob Johnson, who else did we have? We had big timers. You know.
Bob Carroll.
Bob
Was
Carroll,
active, yeah.
Teddy Mean. We had big shots that were actually enjoying the hunt and doing a lot for it. So there was no problem. When you got that kind of backing, things come along a lot easier. And then two, you had a good committee of 10, which we don't have no more, which we gotta rebuild, I think, for Franz, Wendy, and Olaf. Get involved, you know, at these committees and get things done so they don't have to do it. Everybody have their jobs, get things done. So that would help, you know. That's what was starting to lack, is volunteering and getting involved and knocking on doors and doing stuff.
What's your favorite thing to volunteer for?
I was always, I would say, bush hogging, weed whacking.
Things with machines.
Yeah. I wasn't allowed to build fences, I just break things. Turn the key on the tractor, I could cut anywhere. Weed whacker, you just zip and walk up and down. The fence building, that's another thing, you know, you gotta be half handy doing that and putting them into properties, which we can still do.
You missed the polo years with Don, is that, did you come in after that mostly?
No, polo, well, I was younger then too. Like I told Jose here, who runs the operation here for polo, I says, I couldn't do 38 bandages anymore. 4 wraps a horse, so if you got 8 polo ponies, you're looking at 32 wraps. I can't bend down that far no more. Like I was telling Sam 2 weeks ago, I can't pick feet. I can talk and I can walk. I come here on Tuesdays,
Just
a
go at
man
the
to
same
tell me
time.
what we gotta do. I can bring them in, feed them, you know. So anyway, I'm a bush hogger man and a weed whacker. But this is what we gotta find people that wanna do, like with Cherry. Take a day and go hang out with them for a day. One drive the bush hog, one weed whack, you know. Things that we can all do.
Yeah,
We're gonna start doing it this year. Volunteer groups, you know, helping out. You'll see how it builds. More people get involved, they start joining, they start knowing what to do.
Especially if you're there to tell all your good stories.
Yes.
you know?
Oh yeah, we got, you know, you get Eugene here, he's got some good ones.
Yes.
I mean, we had Albert, we had Susanna up here. I mean, there's all different things that have happened in the past, you know. It's like, just Erica, she grew up with whipping hounds over there.
Couple of years anyway.
Yep, with Eugene. That's the other thing people get involved with. Sam, I mean, Franz, Wendy, and Olaf, they're the head honchos. But me, I always used to have to answer to the huntsman. Like if I was still around, like when I worked for Franz, Suzanne, whatever, I'd answer to Eugene. What do you need? So Sam is kinda,
Yeah, she's the CEO of the hunt.
she's in charge when you come hunting, she's in charge. Franz tells her what he wants to do, and she says, well, this is what we can do, just to keep you safe. Just like me, when I used to, take all the hilltoppers, you know, you had all these people that go out on the walk Friday night, figuring out the course. Come next morning, they probably all talking on the phone, they'd all change it anyway. So an hour, when I get there, I go right to the huntsman or the huntswoman, say, where do you want me? You know, and that's what Eugene used to do with the field masters. He'd say, listen, this is where I'm gonna lay it. Don't tell anybody, just stay off it. And what I used to do with Philip, I would just show up, he'd tell me where to be. Don't go here. You always listen to the huntswoman or the huntsman when you get there. They kinda call the shots. Even in Virginia, Pennsylvania, the huntsmen's down there normally, they got an idea where the fox are and where they're gonna let the hounds go and work that way. So masters are always in the back, the field masters, watching, staying out of the way. Just like the hilltoppers, that was my job, stay out of the way because we'd be the last coming. And I would take shortcuts and you could watch the actual hounds working. So you knew where not to be. You could see them off in the distance because once you cross that line, it breaks it up and you take it with you. Where if you don't hit that line, they'll stay on it. Because one Thanksgiving, we come over there by Ann Getchell's house in the snow, and I come flying over there by the Odom, George Horn's property there, that woods in the back there. I come flying out of there with the hilltoppers. Eugene yelled out real hard, stop, you know, and I hit the brakes, cause I was coming across Ann Getchell's yard, where you had the line. If I didn't stop, we would've took the whole freaking field with us. The hounds would've followed us. So you gotta know where you are, and always pay attention to who's in charge in front. You know.
What was one of your most memorable days leaving the hilltop field?
That would have to be, we had a joint meet. I told that story, we had 125 out. And I had about 60 in the hilltoppers,
Oh,
you know? Cause if Big Don was on one of the mares, everybody would drop back to the middle field or the hilltoppers. If he was on a chestnut or a gray horse, they'd all be behind him. That's the other thing is the huntsman or the huntswoman always knows what the master is right. So they know where to go and what they can do. Cause if the huntsman knows that the master is on a good horse, he's gotta put out more. But if he's on an iffy horse, it's an easy day. And with Big Don, with the gray horse and Chestnut, they'd all be up on the front end. You never followed him with the mares. Cause he'd have two of them. I'd be on one, he'd be on one. 40 fences later, he'd swap.
Mighty Contessa and Cleopatra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do 40 apiece, so it was hard to keep up on the front end. So that's why we had the middle field where you could pick and choose. But that day with 125, we had 60 hill toppers. That was a lot.
They all make it?
Yep. Oh, no. We lost one down in the woods, in the field by the river. And then Eugene, this is classic. He's on that gray horse that he got in England. And he comes over the little wall after you've crossed the runway into the backyard of the Little's big house.
Yeah.
He comes over there. Granted, he's got, 15 couple, 125 people behind him with Erica. And who was the other gal that used to whip him with you?
Sarah.
All right, Sarah. Eugene's on the front end. This is classic. He comes over the 3-foot wall, falls off, and there's 30 hounds running across the field. Now comes 125 over that wall. So Sarah and Eric is out chasing the hound. Eugene's on the ground. 125 people behind him. Classic. Meanwhile, we get over there on the other side of the polo field. Here comes the fire truck. Here comes the cops. They're going down into the woods because Bob Johnson's girlfriend, after he got divorced, was a woman from New York.
Yeah. I
forget-
remember that. I
You
might have been
remember
out
that.
that day, yeah.
Well, she hit off a fence and knocked into a tree and
Yeah.
did something to her hip.
Yeah.
So we had the fire trucks there, the police cars there. My brother-in-law was picking up my daughter to take her to his granddaughter's birthday. He was laughing, He never seen a hunt before. There's 125 horses all over the place, loose hounds, but it was classic. It was hunting. That stuff, that happens over there in England, even in the corn, I heard some stories about our good Prince over there, Prince Charles, girls that used to work over there that come here, and you hear stories like that everywhere.
Oh, yes.
Stuff happens,
Things happen.
where you from, England, right?
Mhm.
That stuff's always happening.
Yeah, I'm usually in a ditch somewhere and I walk home.
Speaking ditches, we got a good news person here. I seen you on the news this morning.
Yeah.
That was a story.
Who was on the news? Sam?
Yeah, we had a horse upside down in a ditch, at Wanderer's Way.
Sam got called in.
Kim and I both.
Oh yeah, Kim too, yeah. They both got called in on this.
Where's Wanderer's Way?
It backs up to Crockers and the Littles.
You go to, yeah,
It's
Middle
with the big
Street.
indoor.
Oh, there.
Jennifer Eddy's old
Oh.
place.
Yeah.
Is the horse okay?
Yeah, 32 years old.
Wow, just fell in the ditch with the snow or something?
Yeah, it's in the paddock and he just slipped, so just couldn't get himself back out.
Yeah,
What's he got
Mary,
now? Just pulling him out with people?
Yeah.
Mary Milgram called me, says, Sam and Kim McIver are on the news. They're over there at the dressage barn, pulling a horse out of the ditch.
Well, better than a plane crash, that's all we had on news
Oh, yeah.
recently.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
But just coincidental, it came on the news and there's Sam pulling freaking horse out.
Did you have a blanket underneath it with all those ropes or anything?
Yeah, we had a tarp under it,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
but the snow was really slippery, so that worked really well.
He didn't seem to be struggling too much.
No, they sedated him.
Oh,
You
did
watched
they?
the news too?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, I seen it. I turned it right, remember Mary called me, I turned it on.
Yeah. I didn't see Sam though, what a disappointment.
You didn't see Sam?
I didn't see him
Oh,
on
yeah.
on the television, no.
I did.
Good girl.
Well,
Sam.
Dougie, you've been a great part of the hunt, since
Thank you.
'87. Amazing. You did a great job leading the Hilltop Fields.
Everybody always had such a good
Yeah.
time.
You did a great job with Don.
I should be there with you this year. 'Cause I gotta get a picture with you and Huntswoman
Yeah, we should do
for
that.
my album.
Yeah. we should
But I
do
got a
that.
ride to get it.
Yeah, you do.
No, I do. I got a picture with Russell, Betty.
Wow.
Well, I got a picture with Moose too. We're talking on horseback.
Well, we can get you back.
Yep.
Definitely.
Well, I
Oh,
gotta
yeah.
slide off to Cambridge. There.
Thanks for coming.
Nice to see you all.
Good to see you too.
All right, thank you, Dougie.
Good seeing you, Fran. I wish I had Michelle Jeffries here. She could explain to me. These are all good hunting pictures.
Why
Okay.
don't you hold one up and tell us
Yeah.
the story behind it?
Look at this bunch.
Would like to, Dougie, can you share it?
Yeah.
Describe it to us.
Yeah.
How about the picture of you with everybody at the table?
Oh, yeah, that is,
Do you want to show it to everybody?
well, Jerry Mahoney, he did a lot for opening up West Newbury.
Yes, he did.
Him and his wife and Betty Ellis, that was
Big effort.
big effort they did. Now, the gentleman in the middle, he was I forget his name. And the brunette, you know.
Dougie,
Hold it up
hold
so
it
we
up,
can
man.
see.
Oh, there's the brunette. No, no
She
idea.
she had that place. Okay, if you're coming out of Waldingfield Road onto 1A and you made a left going towards Ipswich and the right hand side, the barn with them horses,
Pheasant Ridge, Pheasant Hill.
she owned that barn. She had that property.
Oh,
Do you remember
yeah,
who that is?
I do.
You remember
I don't
her. I
remember
forget her
the person.
name.
Yeah, she leased those out, didn't she, for
Yeah.
residents or something? Yeah.
But she owned
I
that
never
property.
met her.
She got into polo and went to Wellington. Yeah, I forget her name. Jerry Mahoney's here. He's the gentleman I was talking about.
That helped in West Newbury?
He did a lot in West Newbury.
How did he manage to,
Just
Yeah.
knocking on doors, and he was semi-retired. And,
Is he still with us or he's passed?
no, he passed away. His wife Lee, she sold the property they had, but it was one of those where you find people that knock on doors. Catherine O'Brien was another person from West Newbury who knocked on doors, wouldn't take no for an answer. Things we gotta start doing, you know, not the crew, but the subscribers contributing. Oh, that is great Neil Air, what do you think?
Show us Neil Air.
Hmm?
Show us Neil Air.
This is Neil Air, this is a good old picture. Pass that around. That's Neil Air. Good friend of Susanna's. He passed away.
Never yelled at anybody so much in my whole life as I yelled at him.
what were you yelling at him
The
about?
hounds.
Oh, yeah, Mrs. Appleton used to yell at him, oh, yeah.
He didn't wanna tell anybody where they were going, and
Mhm.
I came down off Newbury Hill from Moon Hill. I had my 3 dogs, one was a street dog that would chase anybody that came to come. And that dog went down, saw that hound pack, split it in 2. And I just yelled at Neil and said, "Serves you goddamn right, why didn't you tell me you were going down?" Poor
Mrs.
man,
Appleton
as he
always
was
used to.
dying, he was on his deathbed. He was apologizing to me for causing.
Do you want to pass them around, Dougie, and we'll be careful
Yeah.
with them?
He was apologizing
Trying to send some,
me, I didn't know I was selling to his grandson. Oh my God, you should have seen her line up at
Can I
that
see Mrs.
restaurant.
Appleton if you have one?
And he
I
was,
don't think
he
there's any.
was apologized for causing me so much trouble. I thought that was very sweet. Oh man, Neil, boy. Woo! What a picture. Looks quite fat there.
Oh, we don't.
Nori Reese.
Yeah, Neil wants to talk to us.
Yeah.
Shit, I'm dying.
What was your favorite event that Dawn used to
Come
put
around.
on?
Excuse me?
What was your favorite event that Dawn used to put on?
You mean the New England Hunter Trial?
Any of them? Hunter Trials, the Jumper Classics?
Oh, they were all good. I mean, the Hunter Trials down at Norfolk used to be my favorite for some reason. It was the way it was set up, because all the parking was right there by the start. All the awards was right there by the parking where the trucks were. So, you never had to do anything but pull in there. The first fence was here, the awards ceremony was right behind you, and, you know, you leave 7 o'clock in the morning, and you'd be home by 5. But they always had a real organized hunter trials, where we were always scattered, different places, doing different things. They always had it at the old steeplechase course in Dover. That was a good hunter trials.
What do you think is your favorite horse you've ever worked with?
Oh, I don't know. Being over there at Big Don's for 25 years, we just got lucky and everything was good.
What's your favorite?
Oh, I don't know. It's, you know, the ones that did the most, the ones that did the least were not on my top of the list. Grover might have won 8 herd cups, but like I said, he'd go 1 check back in the trailer and back in the barn. Where Ballymore, you know, he'd hunt for 4 hours straight. The 2 mares, they'd go for 2 hours apiece. Carango, he was just Carango, non-stopping, you know. If he didn't like you, he'd just rub you off on a tree. He did that to Eugene. Eugene got stuck hunting the hounds with him, and Carango didn't like him, so he rubbed him off on a tree. Yeah, you know. And then, no, I mean, it's hard to say. You get with a group of horses like Ballymore. The woman who owned them stole them from her husband down in Middleburg. Called up Big Don, says, I got a horse sitting up in Maine on Jackson Road. Pick it up, see if you like it. Come to find out it's the great Ballymore. Pam Stokes, when she got divorced. Transferred the horse up to Maine, told us about it. We went and got him. He was living with goats and sheep. We pulled him out of the field, brought him here. A week later, Don took him out with the hound. He was a great horse, you know. He went on to do a lot. He won a couple herd cups. But he would hunt for 4 hours. Big Irish bred horse.
Oh, great.
Grover was a Tennessee thoroughbred. Great horse. The mares were mares. You can't beat the mares. They're the best. You get a good mare, you're not gonna get better. They were solid every time. They would never even think about stopping at a fence, you know. Carango wouldn't stop, but he'd grab a rail, you know. Ballymore would never stop. But we got lucky. It's all in the luck. You can't make them, they just come that way.
Yeah.
And you get lucky. No, I'm sorry, you know, them horses were all, you know. Like I said, the ones that did the most were my favorite. Because you had to patch them up, get them ready. They had 3 days, you know. There's other horses that are always injected, not doing much, you know. They're kind of spoiled. Yeah.
Any photos of you in there, Dougie?
No, surprised. But
I bet they
87,
are.
80, I was just coming around. Well, let's see. I mean, these are good, you know, let you walk pass these around, look at them. I wish Michelle was there. She knows all the names.
She'll come back. She's moving today.
I mean, we're all, yeah, they're moving today.
What about when you guys had somebody jump the Stanley Cup?
Oh, let me see, Charlie Jacob, Charlie did that at the Commons.
Was that a Dawn?
No, I think the first year you had the Ritz-Carlton, we had a pre-warm-up advertisement at the Commons. We brought Fifi Coles, Amanda Smith, and Diane Johnson down to the Commons to do commercials for the Fidelity. And then when he had the big jump Grand Prix over at the schooling field, we went down to some hotel off the river. And I brought 2 horses down there for him and a professional from Rhode Island. Jumped 3 fences in the backyard of a restaurant for advertisement. And then Don talked to Mayor Mino and said, listen, can I have a small professional jumping class in the Commons? Well, we had some good pros. So Charlie Jacobs got permission to be in it. Well, not only did Charlie bring one of his good jumpers, you know, here comes the Stanley Cup from me to you. These guys got white gloves on. And what the heck? They pull this thing out, it's the cup, it's that big. They bring it into the field, they put it in front of a fence, and here comes Charlie, he jumps it. To this day, they jump the cup in the Commons.
The Commons? What's the Commons?
It's the big place in Boston.
Oh, Boston Commons.
Yeah,
I'm
the
sorry, I
Boston
didn't realize where we were.
Yeah, twice we were there. The second time, but I tell you, we had to bring in all our brush, all the fences, and we had some good riders. They came from New York, Rhode Island, you know. And the cup, I'll never forget that. They jumped the cup. Glad Sam knows all that stuff.
Erica helped me out on that.
Oh,
So you've done your homework, like an equestrian journalist? All the right questions.
there's the great Russell Clark. I don't know who's with him now.
How many times have you gotten completely schmamulated from Russell Clark's Lighthouse?
Well, that's that started with the Boston Classic. The Ritz-Carlton, we all drinking that, the Lighthouse. The thing with Russell Clark, he was a great huntsman, great person,
Which one is he on here?
in the tweed jacket. Dressed the best all the time,
Yeah,
dressed sharp,
he was a real.
very
person.
English attire.
Mhm.
But he did have a drink called the Lighthouse. And basically, open and meat, joint meats, hunter trials, horse show, Thanksgiving Day. He'd have the Lighthouse. It was a trophy, a polo trophy. And he had about 10 different rums, egg whites,
It was
couple juices,
dangerous.
and it was dangerous. They go down smooth,
Woo.
and you just keep drinking it, and then next thing you know, you ain't driving. But it was the famous Lighthouse. We don't know where it is, I don't know.
I hope it went away.
It was, these kids. The Lighthouse. That's another thing, C.G. Rice, I told the story on Thanksgiving Day. We pulled up there when he was alive, where Julie and Philip Lake live now. They'd stop there and C.G. Rice would make up his hooch. I mean, this stuff was good, some kind of rum in a big pot, just stir it. And everybody would take a drink. Make a long story short, 10 people got off their horses, and them 10 people never got back on. They just kept drinking with C.G. Rice, the hooch, you know. That we gotta bring back, traditions.
Julie and Philip
I
did.
know. Did they do it?
They did a batch of hooch last season.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It might have been, Oh no, I was handing out water with Amy.
Julie.
I missed that.
Lily.
Yeah.
Yes. Really
Yeah.
did. It was tasty, yeah.
Yeah. And they even had a big cauldron going.
Did they?
Yeah.
It's the only way to hunt in Ireland.
Yeah.
You need that before you go out. Otherwise you wouldn't go out.
Oh no, we were there, I remember trying to get people on their horses, they would just steady drink. 10 people didn't know. Drinking, the rest of the field took off. Thanksgiving Day, that was the old days. Russell was the master, Betty Ellis.
That's how you got over your 4-foot fences, isn't it?
Well, you know, them, Russell, Betty Ellis and Big Don, you know. Good pictures there.
Those horses at Bielsa's were
Mhm.
amazing.
Russell had some good ones too.
Yeah.
Russell had some wonderful ones.
But it's a different era now too. People ain't jumping, wherever you go even, they're not jumping the 4-foot fences no more. 3 foot's it. It's safe. I mean, to be jumping 4-foot fences, you gotta have a lot of horses in the barn. People nowadays, they own one horse and they're careful with them. And they don't overdo it. Because once you start overdoing it, next thing you know, you got a vet bill. Where 3 foot is safe enough now in my book, you know, with the type of people you have hunting, whether it be Virginia, New Hampshire, New York, they're all jumping small stuff. Nobody's jumping the big stuff. The only ones that gotta jump the big stuff are the whipperins, where the huntsman or the huntswoman tells them to go. They gotta jump. They don't have no choice in it.
What was your most memorable vet call? What was your most memorable call to the vet?
To the vet?
Yep.
Oh, I don't know. We bought a horse in Amsterdam. Came into Wellington in January. I came out of Attitash in August. And I'm sitting in the barn with Perrin Pierce. He's getting married. The priest is over from Dublin. We're going riding, the 3 of us, in Don Little's barn. I bring this horse in from the round pen. I put him on the cross ties. Stevie Hughes, the blacksmith, who's no longer with us, does one leg, then he picks up another leg. Next thing he knows, I hear, whoa, 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 stand up, stand up. The horse is laying on the ground. I said, Stevie, what happened? You hit him with a hammer? No. The horse hit the ground. I call up Dr. Parrott. Dr. Parrott, I got a horse on the ground. Perrin Pierce says, Dougie's gone. Well, nothing you can do, Dr. Parrott. See you later. I'll never forget that.
That's, yeah.
That
that's
poor
awesome.
gray horse. He had what do you call that in the blood?
Oh, clock.
Clock.
Something like a clot, because we did an autopsy to find. We only had the horse 8 months, you know.
Oh, dear.
That's the thing, Brian, you never know what you're gonna get when they come off the
That's for
plane.
sure.
But that's a true story. He come out, he was third up at Attitash, we come home, it's a Tuesday. I'm taking Perrin and his priest riding. And the poor horse is laying there and, you know. It's sad, but stuff happens, you know.
Yeah.
Nothing you can do about it. Just like yesterday with your horse in the ditch, stuff happens.
Horses like to find ways to hurt themselves.
Yeah. Now this one had something in the blood.
What was your favorite horse that you've hunted?
Oh, we gotta go with Carango. He was the classic. He'd buck you off every 5 years. Non-stop. You're gonna hit the ground. I don't care who you are. If they asked me to ride Carango, I said, listen, you don't wanna ride that horse. Oh yeah, well, yep. I said, all right. As soon as you get on him, half hour later, I don't care who you are on the ground. And, you know, he was just one of those types.
Did he wait for you?
Oh yeah. Opening day, I think it was 2000, Erica will remember. I'm taking the Hilltoppers, I'm on Carango. I get over there behind Waldingfield barn. I'm on the ground. He's standing there. There's 50 people watching me. I jump on the coop, I climb back on Carango, off we go. I get over to Don's house. I'm on the ground again. This is opening day. He's standing there. I gotta climb back up on this thing. He's not running away. I gotta get on him. I get halfway over to Freddie Winthrop's property. Halfway through the back trails there. I'm on the ground again, and he's still looking at me. I said, go, get, go. I climb back on him. Well, I got the Angetchels, I stayed on him. I got the Appletons, I stayed on him. Got me off 3 times in one hunt. He was the greatest. He was non-stopping, you know.
We'll have to see if Michelle can find a picture of him.
Yeah, I think I might have one, but Big Don was down in I mean, this horse was a jumper too. He did everything. These horses did everything. They hunted, they jumped, they did everything. So when we go to Wellington, you know, Big Don would come back from Ireland with Bob Johnson and the boys, you know. And they think they get educated over there taking lessons with them, hunting in Ireland and England. Make a long story short, Big Don's on Carango. He's down in the warm-up ring, fixing his knots on his reins. Norman Della Joya says, what's he doing? I says, I don't know, something he learned in Ireland. We're in Wellington, going into a 3-9 jumping class, and he's in tying his knot with his rein on Carango, getting ready to go in the ring. And Norman just shook his head, you know. So now we go into the ring, make a long story short, with this horse, there's a big wind. Well, the first fence has 2 big bushes, and they're both laying down. Don's on his warm-up. You got 60 seconds to walk around and warm up. He goes to the first fence, not knowing the bushes are down. And everybody's going, whoa, 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 whoa. Big Don and Carango just flew it. Jumped the brush and all, and off they went. The horse never had no fear. He'd jump anything. He was a horse that a woman kept getting bucked off of. He was peppermint. You had to give him a peppermint. And he was just a great horse. We buried him down in Blue Ridge Hunt Country. We retired him down there, Joe Hicks. And we buried him down there. He didn't go to the kennels. He went to the ground.
Sounds like a really fun horse.
Man, people knew him. Like, we did his tendon over, you know. I forget what surgery they were doing, but they called him a warrior because, you know, it took him forever to knock him down to fix his tendon. They were doing some stitching in there. Shorten him, what was that called? They do it to the tendon.
Front foot or back foot?
Front foot.
Desmotomy.
Yeah,
So they
something.
can't feel their coffin going.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Isn't it?
It took him forever to knock, we retired him. We weren't jumping him, you know. But as the surgeon said, it took him a lot of medicine to knock him down, to do the surgery. He was tough. Yeah.
How many times have you broken your collarbone?
Oh, 4 times. Yeah.
Which
What?
was your most memorable one?
Oh, Winthrop Street. Great view.
I knew it was coming.
No, I broke my collarbone in the bull riding, and then,
The bull riding?
oh yeah,
Oh boy.
I never got on another bull.
How did you get on the first bull?
Well, I was kind of riding saddle broncs and bareback horses, and I wanted to get into bull riding. Well, I had a nice bull, but I went over his head, hit his horn on the way in the air. That was the first time. I was 16. Then at the
Where are you?
racetrack,
In Massachusetts?
what?
Where are you bull riding? Where? In
Oh,
what
up
part of
in
the world?
upstate New York.
Oh.
United Rodeo Company.
Right.
They're not around no more. No, they got rodeo companies over there in New York. Boston Spar's got a rodeo company. Peekskill, not Poughkeepsie, New York.
How did you decide rodeo was going to be your life?
No, that was just as a kid
That was just
playing
fun.
cowboy, fun. being on the racetrack and this and that. I never got to the finals. I mean, there was a lot of, I went to riding saddle broncs because I'd stay on longer. Bull riding's tough, you know, it's all strength. Saddle bronc riding's more balance and you get lucky, you know. No, I fell off a horse on the racetrack, broke my collarbone. Then I was going through C.G. Rice's backfield. We had a new horse, Calvin. He was skittish, he didn't like other horses, and I was in the back, and I fell off and hit the only rock, hit that again. And then the Mighty View, second year riding him, walking and trotting him. I go down Winthrop Street, June 28th. I got a fly swap here. I got his hand in the reins here. I get down to the back driveway to Freddie Winthrop's. He does something. He goes forward, turns left, does a total of 360, and I go air brown, looking at him running. So I never been on an ambulance. So instead of walking back, I just laid there and called up the ambulance, and then Cherry found me. He took my phone and laughed at it because it was a flip phone. Called my wife and told me the ambulance is picking him up. That's the last time. Yeah.
And then who are the trainers you work for at the track? Did you work for Frank Whiteley?
No, I was in Maryland for 3 years, which I got a good education. You see, if you work in New York, if a horse goes bad, they send him back to the farm, or they send him to Maryland, Pennsylvania, Suffolk Downs. So I went to Maryland for 3 years and got a real education taking care of horses. Because when they got lame in Maryland, you had to put them back together and race them. New York, as they get in problems, they ship them out. So you learn more in these other states than you would in New York. Yep. There was a bunch of trainers. Oh yeah.
Were you just an exercise rider, or?
Just an exercise
Yeah.
rider. Yep. I should have stayed and worked at the airport.
I was
So
just
it's what-
about to ask if you never worked with horses. Well,
No,
rewind.
I
Where were you born?
Port Jefferson, Long Island. You see, Long Island is just like here. No different. You got hunting, dressage, eventing, show jumping, polo, and a lot of horse racing. Belmont and Aqueduct. It's the Long Island.
How old were you when you knew that you were going to start with horses?
Oh,
So
I
weird.
graduated in 1973, and the war was on in Vietnam. I signed up for the draft in March of 73, turned 18. Nixon did away with the draft, so I went to Belmont Park Racetrack. I didn't get drafted. I was either going to Vietnam or the racetrack when I turned 18. He did away with the draft, so I went to Belmont Park with Secretariat, 1973. Yep. Yep. I got to see him in his 3-year-old campaign. My first year on the track working. I've been around the people, I've been around the track, but never full-time working. That's when I went when I graduated. Lived on the backside and learned walking hearts, grooming, galloping, you know, apprenticing all the way. But, you know, Secretariat was there, Ruffian was there, all the greats, you know.
Do you have
Forgo.
kids, Dougie?
What?
Do you have kids?
Do I?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, I got a daughter.
Does she ride?
Yeah, with Jenny, the Australian woman, she learned from her. She don't ride no more, she went to college and, you know, she'll probably get back into it, but.
If she came up to you tomorrow and said, Dad, I'm going to start working on the racetrack, what advice would you give her?
Go to New York, the money's good. They're paying big money at New York. Grooms are getting big money. Yeah, no, that's the other thing about the horse business. Around here, salaries are good. But I tell you, where you're gonna learn more, but you're not gonna make any money, is Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia. You're gonna learn down there, but you ain't gonna make no money. They're still in the old days. No, if you wanna work on a racetrack, go to New York.
What's your favorite track that you ever worked at?
Oh, it'd have to be Saratoga in the 4
Yeah.
weekdays. I mean, when I went to Saratoga, we'd be there for 28 days. That's it. Because we raced Monday through Saturday, no racing on Sunday. So we basically raced 24 days in the old days. I used to make 100 a day, and it would cost me $3,200 to go there for 28 days. It would cost me $400 to get there and back. Because you're eating, you're drinking. It's one big party. That was my favorite.
It's a beautiful track.
Yeah. And then I used to, on Sundays, there's a story here. Frank Hansfield used to pull patrol as an outrider on Sunday mornings on the main track. And I used to help him. And he said, Doug, I got this new bay horse, long mane, in the barn, down the road, behind the Standardbred track. So I go in the barn, it's kind of half dark, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. I see a bay horse, long mane, and he's a little funny when he says, he'll probably, buck a little when you get on him, just kick him in the belly and come on down the blacktop. It's the back road there out the back gate at Saratoga. So I grab a brown horse, long mane, throw the tack on him, get on him, go trotting down the blacktop, and he goes to bucking. Well, I come in the back gate, and Frank's sitting there with Pancho Martin, one of the great trainers at the time. Jorge Velazquez, he's on a horse going to Breeze Sunday morning. Mahoney, get off that horse. They're gonna get you for horse thieving. I said, what do you mean? He said, that's not the brown horse. I'm sitting on a freaking Standardbred. I got on him. He bucked a couple times, trotted right down the blacktop into the back gate, going over to see Frank Hansfield. Whoa, 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 stop, get off that horse, turn around. That's a true story. I think he still holds to this day up there. They talk about that.
That's great.
Because if you go out the back gate, there's a big bar there now. I forget the name of it. And you got the trotting horse track with all the barns. And Frank used to keep 2 or 3 lead ponies there. Because stalls were short then. So you had to get them in there, get them any way you could.
How did you connect with myopia hunt from racetracks and everything you've done? Where's the connection?
Well, I was doing nothing in Palm Beach for the winter. Big Don come to me, he says, Mahoney, what are you doing? I said, well, I got to get back to New York. My father's mad. I've been sitting down here doing nothing for 4 months. Well, I need a favor. I said, what do you mean? I need a groom to take care of some horses, cut grass, drive the truck and trailer. I said, well, I got to get back to New York. Well, I'll call your father, see what he says. So I said, Don, you call my dad, see what happens, So the next day, Don sees, he says, I got the nod. You can come and help me out for the summer at myopia. So here I am. I'm
What year
supposed
was
to
that?
be here till Labor Day and then back to New York. Well, Don comes to me after Labor Day, he says, you know anything about hunting? I said, you chase the hounds around, they lay a line, boom, boom, boom. One thing led to another. So now it's November, I'm still here. Well, Doug, you want to go to Virginia? 12 polo ponies, 2 field hunters. Sure, what the heck? 38 years later, here I am.
That's great.
Never left. It's a great area. Everything has always been here. You don't want to leave once you come here.
Yep.
And that's how I got here, and I'll never leave.
We appreciate you sticking around.
Oh yeah, that's a funny story. I come here for 4 months. I'm here 38 years later. Yep. It's a good area.
It's
Good
a
people.
great area.
No, I was with Big Don for 25 years. And then I run into Sam. She says, what are you doing? I says, I don't know. She says, well, come over there, work part-time for me here, over at Susanna's. I've been with Sam on and off, helping Wendy out. Still,
The glue that holds it all together.
it's just nice here. People say, you don't want to leave the North Shore, Granted, you know, things are getting quieter, but it's still here. You still have the best hunt country in New England. I don't care. Like I said, I've been here 38 years. I see all this land we have around here still, compared to all these other hunts. You still have the best. It's
Well,
still
that's
number
great
one.
to hear that, Dougie.
You know that.
Yeah.
You
that's
got
wonderful.
Appleton's, Bradley Palmer, you know, Harvard Woods. You still can get through Legend. And then you got Jamie Cabot's old place where you get along with that owner, you talk to him. And then whatever buys Darwin, the Bradford estate. I don't know what's going on with that barn.
Devin Glenn.
Yeah. That's still on the market, I think. We just gotta get the right people to buy all this property back, so they don't run you out. You know, what happened to you at Waldingfield right now, you know.
Are you asking me a question?
No, I'm just saying, people come into what are we gonna do? We don't know which way it's going
Yeah,
for the past history of the property, you know.
yeah.
It's like Sam, she got Cirilla's place, which is a big help, cause she got all that country there to go through.
Mhm.
You know, she could have sold it to anybody. Somebody could have put houses there, you know. Kept it horse-wise. That's the thing. Waldingfield needs to be horse-wise. You won't lose the polo field because Mrs. Bird left that to myopia. You know.
Yeah, when
If
when
you
the
lose
project's
that-
finished, what will we have? We don't know what it's going to look like, other than it's going to have horses. But will it shrink? I don't know.
That's all called new owners. That's the thing. One thing with Centennial, with Don's place, he left it to the trustees. All of that. All you gotta do is deal with the people that live there and make sure they like to hunt, you know.
We'll just get this guy on a horse then, won't we? That'll sort that
But-
problem out.
You know, that's all trustee land. And Ipswich, Bob Daniels' place, I don't know, you probably, you deal with that,
With the soccer fields?
yeah, with the old polo fields. We
Yeah,
used to
there's
go
soccer
through there.
fields now.
Now it's soccer field, you know. It's
Can you
a
not
hard
access
call
that
now.
anymore? That goes to Ascot. You got
Well,
soccer
yes
fields
and
and it goes out as far as Ascot Equestrian. Am I in the right place?
Well, it's too much blacktop. Some people like it, some don't, you know. We used to go through Ascot, down all the blacktop, go up to the castle. you know.
Blacktop, what's that?
It's the road.
Oh,
Gotta pay attention.
Mhm.
Never should have missed Waldingfield. Very, very aggravating.
Yeah.
And that access road going into the polo field, the control goes to the person that owns the property
Over there, Bob Daniels' old place.
at Waldingfield.
Oh, Waldingfield. Oh, yeah. Well, we can still get in there even without the driveway. You can rock. You
You
can.
can go through the woods.
Yeah,
there's
with
a
the
trail.
horses.
Yeah.
And the polo people, they just got to make a deal with the guy. You know.
his daughter plays polo. I don't see that being a problem.
Say what?
I say his daughter, new owner's daughter. I've never met. I don't know. all the
Oh, it'd be
details, but
interesting to see what
She's
happens.
a polo player apparently.
Because you can't shut the property down because you got Bird's Polo Field. You got the river there. You got Judy Little, you know. You got the dressage barn. Freddie Winthrop Jr. You know.
We're very lucky here.
No, that's why I'm saying myopia still has number one hunt country. You look at these other hunts with
It's
they're
fabulous. I tell you, it's
putting up with.
the same things are happening in England, and we didn't have as much as you have here to start with, and it's shrinking.
Yeah.
Progress.
What it is.
That's what they call it, isn't it?
Well, we'll get Eugene McKay here.
Next week we have Franz.
Oh, good. I'll be here.
He'll be speaking next week. And then Nat Coolidge.
I know. I want to be here for
following
that.
week. That's the 15th. So,
That and Franz will be good. See, Franz grew up here. He's been here. He's an era, you know. And Nate not. You need Mrs. Ellis too. If we could get her.
I'll put you on that
I
assignment.
know. Her and Ann Getchu, you always stay on their good side. You never make them mad at you. Those are two women, yes ma'am.
That's right.
You never get on them two women's bad side. You got trouble.
Dougie, at your age, you should know that's all women.
Oh.
Thank you.
No, but, welcome. I'll be here.
Thank
Listen
you.
to
That was
Franz and
great.
Nate. He'll be good.
I had no idea you rode bulls.
Oh, yeah.
Broke my brain.
That's why I stopped riding. I broke my